I think, first of all, with the geopolitical environment as it is today, globally, all over the world, we're all dealing with various challenges and opportunities, I would say. We also are seeing a rise in advocacy of individuals, the voices that are coming out of all ages. You think about the Me Too movement, for example, or even kids walking out of schools making statements about various issues. I think it's really exciting to see that trend. And then finally, speaking from a corporate perspective, the pressure in a good way that's on us, as you mentioned, John, from our talent, from our customers, and ultimately from the investing community to really do the right thing here, because there is a correlation to the bottom line.
Yes, the future is for good, for-purpose companies because it has to be. And employees are really going to be a key driver of that. Most companies haven't totally figured out how to do that. They're still doing that a little bit on the side. And we think that the current workforce as well as the future workforce is really going to drive that forward.
Really looking at the purpose of your company. What is your value proposition? What are you delivering to the world? And asking the hard questions. Is it transactional? Are you delivering a thing, or are you co-creating a future with your customers? Because there's a lot of companies out there right now with a vision to create a better world, especially in Silicon Valley, where I'm based and headquartered. And the employee base, as Liz said, is getting much more savvy, and despite all of the engagement programs you might be delivering, if you don't have a core purpose that you're sharing with your customers to actually make the world a better place, I think you're not going to be in business for a super long time.
There is a revolution of expectations happening, but the revolution is uneven. Customers, investors, and employees are in different places. And the second part of that headline is, while there's a revolution of expectations happening, most companies are actually failing to either gain competitive advantage or convince people that it's real.
But there's definitely a positive correlation between doing business, social impact, if you will, and to your point earlier, to engagement of our employees, to productivity. There's some very interesting stats around productivity coming out of McKinsey recently, to innovation, and then ultimately to profitability. So you have that business case now so clear, and to your point, Lynelle, earlier, I'm seeing that conversation evolve in such an incredible way that we're past the business case. It's so clear, it's more like, let's just roll up our sleeves, and how do we get this thing right?
So then how do you take other industries, the apparel industry or any other industry, and think about how your industry can move in that direction so consumers have a sort of more easy way to understand sustainability and make that purchasing decision on the spot and not be overloaded by complexity? And I feel like that's a really important next challenge for our industries to get right.
The naysayers, or the climate skeptics, or the people who could be your most vocal critics also can be flipped to your strongest allies. And so I think paying a lot of attention to the people that really don't see eye to eye with you. I spoke last week at the Commonwealth Club about how do you speak to climate skeptics? And I think that's what we all in this room, since we're all part of the choir, need to really think a lot about, is how do we engage the people that don't come to conferences like this?
Fantastic.